Good afternoon, folks. Good afternoon, good evening if you're in Sydney, Australia, to Pop Top, and good morning if you're in the US and working on Independence Day. Quick sound check, make sure we're coming through okay. Thumbs up from someone. Okay. Very quiet day today. A bit of grinding activity going on, but it's really difficult to get into any good trends at the moment. The dollar index you see here, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4 days now, 1, 2, or 3 days of upward momentum coming into some level of resistance to the upside, as we spoke about earlier. 96 handle should really hold it. I think there's a change, almost like a change in feel, in sentiment about the US dollar now. We had a PMIs yesterday, were not too bad. Seems a bit of bullish coming in. Of course, there's all been talk about the hawkish mood from the Europeans and the Canadians and so forth. But now there's more sort of feel. I think that the dollar has turned its corner, and the bond yields, of course, are pushing right up at 235 again now. So this is getting the momentum behind the dollar. This could all come crashing down, I think, on Friday. When I say I think, I mean it's all to do with obviously FOMC and non-farm payroll at the end of the week. We need to see some strong numbers in NFP for the dollar to continue. If it's a weak number in NFP, then this could roll back down to 95 lows again pretty easy, because that would really push the potential for a rate hike onto the for the rest of the last rate hike for the year on the back burner. So I think this is quite a critical non-farm payroll this week. So do pay attention for that. But at the moment it's grinding higher, and there's sort of some signs that there's the data is turning the corner to a certain extent. Stock markets yesterday hit all-time highs, closed today, but still grinding higher in futures. And but there's possibly a change in sentiment. Now the dollar yen, I haven't taken a trade in here. I haven't taken a trade in here today, but the dollar yen is potentially, if this grind continues, the dollar yen could be the way to play this to the upside. Now, of course, don't get too excited about any movements today, because I don't think it's necessarily going to happen. But this, it certainly has the potential for to grind back up to the 115 handle. I think the move we've had today in the Japanese yen to the upside, the safe haven play because of the North Korean missile launch, it could be short-lived. There's certainly some short covering in the yen gone on, and everyone moves to the yen because of a missile goes, but then it comes back and resumes its weakness in the basket. And you look here on the daily, where it's not only weak, but we're just really stretched away from the basket of other currencies. So it is a weaker currency. This little blip here you've seen here, of course, is just on the missile launch. But I'm looking at taking advantage of that blip in in the yen to take advantage of stronger currencies against it. In particular, well, we're looking at the dollar yen, so we'll look at the dollar yen, but it maybe isn't the best one to trade, but certainly it's on my radar for a grind higher. So looking to buy this on any dips. Okay, now I think this level, this pink area that I penciled in earlier, if we can just get back into here, and it's only about a 20 pip fallout, it could do that very easily on the back of nothing. Getting into this into long trades in this really should be blue, I guess, but getting into long trades around this level would make sense. I place my stop level below this key support level, which is the 112.60. So my stops have got to be below 112.60, so around, say call that 112.40 or something like that. So if I'm looking at a 40 pip stop loss, if I'm entering in this zone, this buy zone, with a 40-50 pip stop, then that gives me the risk-reward ratio if I believe that we're going to be looking to certainly test the 114 level, and then obviously up to 115. So getting a better risk-reward ratio, establish where your risk is, and then look for your profit target. So always make sure you know where your risk is when you enter a trade, to make sure where you're going to get out of it. That's what I always will always do when I analyse the markets. Look at my stop level first, and then look for profit targets after that. So looking at the dollar yen, as I say, there possibly are some stronger currencies to trade against the Japanese yen at the moment, taking advantage of the yen pullback today on the back of a bit of news. But obviously the longer term trends are still intact. Certainly they are if you look at the Canadian dollar. Canadian dollar at the moment is pushing high, grinding higher. You know, it's if you look at oil prices, in fact, if a quick scan out to oil, I think it's just been relentless, this move we've seen in oil. It's now what, almost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 days now we've seen high highs created in oil. This is a real big move coming into the 50 level. Canadian dollars liking that. Obviously the bullish rhetoric coming out of the RBC as well in terms of the interest rate policy, hawkish talk there. So the Canadian dollar is continuing to grind higher, and that might be a better play against the Japanese yen. So if you look at CAD yen, do drop anything in the chat if you want me to look at a particular chart. I'll keep an eye on both my charts. I'm only doing a quick run around the markets today, obviously because it's closed in the US, so it's quite tight. But if you want me to look at anything in particular, do just jot it in the chat room there. So CAD yen, nice, wonderful trending market. This one, again, you know, good pullbacks into previous. This is I didn't trade this morning. This was at 8 o'clock. I was at in fact, I was streaming at this time. Pulled back straight into the into this structural level. So this is the. I mean, I did miss this. This is it was a decent pullback. This is on the yen strength this morning. Everyone's getting excited about the yen. Pulled back into really good level to the left of the side, left of the chart. Some previous resistance, old high from Friday, from the week. Pulled back into last week's high, and then turned back round and pushed on again as the yen continued to weaken. Yeah, I mean it is a quiet day, but we've definitely missed. I've definitely missed an entry there. That would have been. I'd have taken that one all day long, putting that one back. But I didn't get on there. But that's the way it goes. Coming into, of course, now session highs and weekly highs. Yesterday's high, so we're coming into a bit of a resistance at the moment, but has potential to carry on going. This is the daily now, so we're back up from the highs from Valentine's Day, basically. So the next target to the upside, approaching 87, 80 to 88 handle. Okay, so yep, buying into strength, selling into weakness. Okay, this is you just got to go with this one until it changes direction. That's the 15. Don't look at that too much, but this is it's going in the right direction. So I know one of you in the room, yeah, pop top, yeah, is in the pound in the CAD yen. Yes, I like that. Like the CAD yen. Right, let's have a look. Pound yen. I'm stuck in a vortex in shorting. Been there all day. Let's have a look at pound yen. So I got stopped out on pound yen. I haven't traded it since. I got stopped out. There we go. I got stopped out pretty much. I got stopped out on the dot at 97, 145.97. Got stopped out here, and now we've pushed up again. Well, I mean, I don't. I'm not. I'm not on the same page as you on pound yen. I would be continue to be long bias on this. I don't want you to go and get out of your position now. I'm just. We've all got our views. That's what makes a market. It's a $5 trillion a day market. So my view is insignificant. So don't go and change your position. But my view on this is that this is going to trend higher. I think the rally you had in the yen today, as I say, is going to be short-lived, and I think that's going to establish itself back into negative territory. Weaker currency, all the hawkish talk coming out of the the Western central banks, and negative rates in Japan, uncertainty in their elections over the weekend. So this safe haven, I get it, but I don't think it's going to be Armageddon at the moment. Obviously, it's all heightening up there, but the stock markets are still pushing higher. Stock markets aren't freaked out by it. This is a bit of an indication. Quite often when you see big risk off trades, you see the stock market come back significantly. Stock markets haven't come back significantly. It's pushing higher as we speak, just off the off session highs. Yesterday was an all-time high. Gold markets, same thing. Gold markets aren't motoring ahead. Yeah, I mean, with intense risk off, you'd see, big blip in gold prices. Yeah, I mean, it's had a move. It's had a move from the lows of 12.20 to 12.24. That's just a day move. So there's no real risk off trade going into the gold market at the moment, on the back of North Korea. But the yen had a significant move on the back of it. So the markets definitely have seen that happen, and that's why the yen got stronger. But if we don't see that as a follow through, and we're not seeing that in the other entities, gold and stocks and so forth, then the yen could resume its downtrend. So that's why I like to basically play pound yen to the upside still. So looking for entries in pound yen, where would you be? Looking for entries in pound yen in the middle of the day's range. I mean, you can enter here. I mean, this is a pullback from the day's range. Entering here. I mean, this is not it's not a big move. 40 pips. I mean, it's literally buying pound yen here would work for me, and I will analyse that in a moment. If I put a trade idea out, possibly coming back into this support area, 46.30. You blipped through it on this candle, this 4-hour candle. You call that a hammer candle, possibly. So pound yen on 1 hour. Yeah, I don't want you to go and get out of your position pot, but I quite like this to the upside now, on the back of what I've just mentioned: stocks, gold, and yen giving back its safe haven move from this morning. So keeping an eye on that pound yen to the upside. Euro Oz, Kitchi. Let's have a look at Euro Oz. First of all, I mean, I've obviously been following Euro Oz quite intently. The Aussie is under pressure because of the RBA decision to leave rates unchanged, which was not a shock in itself, but the markets were sort of like positioning itself and hoping that we might see a change in rhetoric in terms of forward guidance, following on from the rest of the central banks all talking now on a hawkish level. They would sort of talk that we could have potentially have seen that, but the Aussie markets have basically acted negatively to the fact that they think that the current policy is in line with consistent growth. So the Aussie has been affected by that. So Aussie at the moment is a sell. Euro is having a bit of a pullback as well. Euro Oz, it's got a flat line, I would have thought, today, flatlining. Look at this on the daily, or the hourly, but each segment here is a daily. It's just flatlining. You've had this fanned out today because of these moving averages are fanned out because of obviously this RBA candle announcement. I want to see the price moving in the direction of these moving averages as opposed to converging back in. Moving averages are fanned out today because of that one candle, but now the market's moving back towards it as the euro comes under a bit of pressure. So what I want to see, I'd want to see the euro break the 49.50, and then just trading the right side of the moving averages that are fanned out. So at the moment, not not committed to buying it at the moment, but the bias to the upside, for me, would be my preferred play. That side, of course, of the moving averages on the 4 hour. And if you have any positions in that, Kitchy, you got an open trade in that? We went along Euro Yen. Okay, I think Euro Yen is a good trade. Let's have a look at Euro Yen. I think that's a better trade than the Euro Oz. So this is I'm not sure where you're along here, but this is a nice, quite a nice entry on the 4 hour. Let's go down to the 1 hour. Okay, coming into support from last week, and it's a nice trendy market to the upside, isn't it? I mean, this pullback has been, really, of course, not only on the Oz but also on the yen. So you had a double play affecting this move. So it was quite an aggressive move. I think this is the right trade. But buying this now, buying Aussie yen with seeing the yen resume its downward momentum would work for me. And the Aussie, at some point, that will just fade. The news of the RBA will fade, and the Aussie will resume its upward momentum. Reasonably good data coming out of there at the moment. We know the RBA don't want to start, stoking up the currency. So with no real big surprises, I think, if you're serious about it. And but at some point they'll have to. But
from the bottom of the hour, we'll be looking at some comments from the ECB's chief economist Peter Fryett in a panel discussion regarding the fixed income markets. His comments appear to come under more scrutiny than usual following Draghi's comments early on last week, and the two ECB source pieces that have been released following Draghi's comments, which have really sought to dial back market expectations, it would seem.
So ECB panel at 10 minutes time. So the market might be paying attention to that on the euro. So I don't know where we get a stream on that. If you haven't got the live squawk, then I don't know where you're going to get that yet. But might be on Bloomberg to check. But so that might move the euro in about 10 minutes time, so keep an eye on that. So anyway, Aussie yen. I like the trade Aussie yen to the upside. Aussie will potentially regain its momentum, and this trend, the strong trend to the upside, can continue. So Kitchy, I like that trade. Got to run, Andrew. No worries. Have a good day. Screaming children. I know what that's like. Mine are all at school. In fact, I've just got one of these little apps that tells me what my daughter's doing. She just spent $2.99 or £2.99 in KFC. There you are. Right, let's have a look. I always thought Euro Oz looked tradable, but I stick to Euro USD. Yeah, no worries sticking to Terry. No worries sticking to one particular currency pair. Certainly, before I came on Forex Signals 9 months ago or so, I would only really trade 5-6 different currency pairs. But one of the reasons why I like the Forex market is because it does offer a view of 28 different currency pairs, and you can view what is particularly strong and what is particularly weak at the moment. We know that the yen is particularly, apart from today, the yen has been a weak currency, and that's clear on the strength meter chart. So I like to be able to pitch stronger currencies, CAD, against weaker currencies. So there are much more opportunities, but that's absolutely fine. Just sticking to the one. You can still use the strength meter chart to only trade when you see the euro strong against the dollar. If they're both moving together, then maybe that's not the best opportunity that is out there. But nothing wrong with that if you want to stick to the one. So that is that. Right, and British pound. We spoke about British pound against the yen. Pound Aussie. Have we spoken about pound Aussie? I don't think we have. Yeah, I mean pound Aussie flatlining again. Just this movement here in the moving averages is just due to this RBA candle, and now it's moving back down to those moving averages. So it's got every potential to move back down to this trading range. So I'm not buying the pound long against the Aussie at the moment. Also, pound dollar. Let's pull up the pound dollar. I think risk reward. Pound dollar is a short playing to the downside. Every time we get back up to these 130 levels, there's big resistance coming into the market to the upside. It happened before the it happened back here before the election. Back here, it was acting at a very good level of resistance up at 130.50 there. So I do think this is going to continue. Certainly wouldn't want to be buying into any major resistance like that at the moment. On a risk-reward basis, if the dollar continues to grind higher, and indeed you have some decent NFPs, you've got the FOMC ahead of that, of course, tomorrow night, FOMC minutes. But if you have decent NFP numbers, then this could certainly be pushing back down to the 127.50 level at some point. So risk reward, works for me by selling this, not buying it at the moment. So pound dollar played to the short side. Full disclosure, no open positions in the pound. Actually, full disclosure, I don't have open positions at all at the moment. Just one trade this morning, and or one trade from yesterday, and pretty flat. Well, I am flat across the markets at the moment. Possibly looking for pound yen to continue to the upside, but I would play pound dollar to the downside. Right, guys, I'll leave it there. Yeah, pound dollar stuck in a range. Yeah, right, but risk to the downside trend, trader. So that is where we are. Possibly looking at dollar yen to the upside. Predominantly looking at the yen continuing its weakness in the basket, and looking to trade stronger currencies against the yen weakness, taking out of the equation the missile test, which put the bid under yen this morning, because there's not a follow through in gold and there's not a follow through in stocks. So that's my view on that. I'll be back for the London market wrap. However, I don't feel it's going to be too much different than the US session. Build is the US session, this little stream, but of course the US are closed, but that's fine. I'll be sitting here in the chat room as well, so if you want to talk about anything, any page you want me to look at, just jot it in the chat, send me a private message, and we'll give it some attention. See you guys, trade safe.
So much more depth in women's tennis. I think we could be seeing